dear students. So for our next method in solving quadratic equations, we will have factoring. So yung una nating method is extracting the square roots. So kung hindi nyo pa napanood yung method na extracting the square roots, so yung link niya is nasa description. So let's start. For our lesson objective, we have solving quadratic equations by factoring. So ang factoring na yan, familiar na sa inyo yan kasi nung grade 8 kayo, pinag-aralan nyo na yan. So i-refresh ko kayo kung paano yung process ng factoring. So wala namang pinagkaiba. It's just that equation na ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. So let's review. Give the factors of the following numbers. For example, number 1, 24. So ang mga factors ng 24 ay 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and then 24. So kapag naglilista tayo ng factor, make sure nag-i-start lagi tayo sa 1. Okay? So ang mga factors na to is kapag dinivide natin yung 24 sa mga factors na nakalista dyan, ang remainder niya is 0. Let's have number 2, 35. So since nag-e-end ang number natin by 5, automatic, one of its factor is 5. So let's have 1, 5, 7, and 35. Next, we have 18. So 18, we have 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and then 18. And finally, we have 70. So since nag-end ang 70 sa 0, one of its factor is 10. So let's have 1, 2, 5, 7, 10, 14. Ano pa? Aside from 14, pwede rin namang 35 and then 70. So next, factor the following polynomials. Since ang lesson natin is about factoring, i-review ko kayo ng factoring polynomials. So let's have number 1, 2x plus 8. So let's get the greatest common factor of 2 and then 8. And that is 2. And then 2x plus 8, i-divide natin yung kanyang GCF. So 2x divided by 2, magiging x na lang. And then 8 divided by 2, 4. So ang factor ng 2x plus 8 is ito. 2 times the quantity of x plus 4. So para malaman kung tama yung sagot, distribute nyo lang yung 2 dun sa mga terms na nasa loob ng parenthesis. 2 times x, 2x. 2 times 4, 8. So 2x plus 8, kamukhang kamukha nung ating given. Next, 4y squared minus 25. Ito naman, factoring difference of two squares. So, kailangan perfect square yung mga numerical coefficients. So, the square root of 4y squared minus square root of 25. So, kapag factoring difference of two squares, magkatulad ang terms, magkaiba lang ng sign. So, square root of 4y squared is 2y. And then, plus, minus. Square root of 25 is 5. And then, 5. So, ayan na. Parehong-pareho yung terms. Nagkaiba lang dun sa sign. Next, we have m squared minus 14m plus 49. So, yung number 3 naman natin is factoring perfect square trinomial. So, ifa-factor natin yung first term tsaka yung last term. And then, ang mangyayari, ikakopy natin yung operation ng nasa middle term. So, kapag in-extract natin yung 49, ang sagot ay 7. And then, squared. So, paano natin malalaman kung tama ang sagot? Kailangan, kapag minultiply natin yung first term, m, tsaka negative 7 sa 2, lilitaw dapat yung middle term na negative 14m. So, let's try. So, square of binomial, m times m, square the first term, m squared. Then, twice the product of the first and the second term. So, m times negative 7 is negative 7m. Times 2, that is negative 14m. And then, negative 7 squared, that is 49. So, kitang-kita nyo naman, nakuha natin yung gitna na negative 14m. So, the factored form is this one. And then, the last one, a squared plus 5a minus 24. Ito naman, factoring general quadratic trinomial. So, kukunin natin yung factors ng negative 24. Na kapag pinag-add natin sila, lilitaw ang yung coefficient ng b, yung nasa middle term. So, what are the factors of negative 24? That will give a sum of positive 5. So, ang factors niya is 8 and then negative 3. So, kapag pinag-add natin ng 8 saka negative 3, lilitaw positive 5. So, sulat lang natin a plus 8 and then a minus 3. So, pag sinulat natin siya na a minus 3 times a plus 8, tama din siya. So, regardless naman dun sa arrangement nila. And then, using FOIL method, makukuha mo kung tama ba yung naging sagot. So, a times a, that is a squared. Outer, a times 8, 8a. Inner, 3 times a, negative 3 times a, negative 3a. Negative 3 times 8, that is negative 24. And then, combine like terms, 8a and 3a. So, a squared plus 8a minus 3a, that is 5a. Then, copy negative 24. So, ayan. Kitang-kita nyo naman, kaparehong-kapareho niya yung given. So, solving quadratic equations by factoring. Quadratic equations can be easily solved using factoring. The steps of solving quadratic equations by factoring are as follows. So, the first step is write the quadratic equation in standard form. So, the standard form of a quadratic equation is given by ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And then, if necessary. So, kapag nakasulat na siya in standard form, no need to do it. So, our next step is factor the quadratic expression using trial and error or AC method. Next, apply the zero product property by equating each factor of the quadratic expression to 0. Then, solve each resulting equation and apply checking of the solution. So, para maging clear sa inyo yung mga steps in solving quadratic equations by factoring, let's have example number 1. Identify the roots of x squared minus 16 is equal to 0. So, ang una natin gagawin, lista lang natin, write natin ulit yung equation, x squared minus 16 equals 0. And then, we can apply factoring difference of two squares. So, mangyayari dito, square root of x squared is x. Sulat natin magkabilaan yung x. And then, square root of 16 is 4. Plus 4, tsaka minus 4. And then, equate natin sa 0. Each term ng ng equation natin na factor, i-equate natin to 0 para makuha natin yung mga roots. So, magiging ganito. X plus 4 is equal to 0, tsaka x minus 4 is equal to 0. So, para ma-solve yan, pakita natin dito, x plus 4 is equal to 0. So, ang sagot dito, x equals negative 4. Isa naman, x minus 4 is equal to 0. Ang sagot dito is positive 4. So, to check, so, sulat natin yung equation natin, x squared minus 16 is equal to 0. And then, yung mga roots natin, 4, tsaka negative 4. So, x equals 4. So, check natin. X squared minus 16 equals 0. So, substitute natin yung 4 in place of x. 4 squared, that is 16. minus 16 equals 0. So, 16 minus 16 is 0. So, yung root natin na 4, tama siya. And then, for negative 4, x is equal to negative 4, x squared minus 16 is equal to 0. Substitute natin yung negative 4. And then, negative 4 squared, that is 16 minus 16 equals 0. 16 minus 16 is 0 equals 0. So, yung mga roots na hinahanap natin is ito. Positive 4 and negative 4. So, example number 2. Find the roots of x squared plus 4x minus 21 is equal to 0. So, kukunin natin yung factors ng negative 21 na kapag pinag-add natin, lilitaw yung positive 4x. So, ang factor ng 21, 7 and 3. So, since positive ang ating middle term, so, yung 7, positive siya, and then yung 3, negative siya. So, paano natin isusulat yon? So, write muna natin yung given equation. And then, yung sinabi ko kanina, x plus 7, so positive, and then x minus 3 equal to 0. And then, paano natin malalaman kung alin sa dalawa ang magiging positive o kung ano man yung sign ng middle term? So, kung alin yung pinakamataas dun sa dalawang number na yon, yun ang masusunod. So, ayan. And then, equate lang natin each term by 0. X plus 7 equals 0. And then, x minus 3 is equal to 0. So, solve natin yung linear equation niya. X plus 7 equals 0. So, the value of x is negative 7. Another, x minus 3 is equal to 0. So, the value is x equals positive 3. So, to check, sulat lang natin ulit, x squared plus 4x minus 21 equals 0. And then, yung mga nakuha nating roots kanina is negative 7 tsaka 3. So, x equals negative 7 muna. So, substitute lang natin sa given equation. So, dapat 0 equals 0 ang makuha natin. So, digyan natin ng hati. So, dito naman x equals 3. Ayan. So, dito tayo sa x equals negative 7. So, palitan natin, substitute, negative 7 squared plus 4 times, again, negative 7 minus 21 equals 0. Negative 7 squared, that is 49. 4 times negative 7, that is negative 28 minus 21 equals 0. And then combine like signs, ayan, negative 28 and negative 21, 49 minus 49 equals 0. And 49 minus 49 is 0 equals 0. So, yung root natin na negative 7, correct. For x equals 3 naman, 3 squared plus 4 times 3 minus 21 equals 0. 3 squared is 9. 4 times 3, 12. Minus 21. 9 plus 12 is 21. Minus 21 equals 0. So, 0 equals 0. So, yung mga roots ng given natin ay negative 7 and 3. Example number 3. What are the roots of x squared plus 5x equals negative 4? So, kung titignan nyo yung given natin, hindi siya nakasulat in standard form. So, again, pag standard form, dapat equal to 0 siya. So, ang gagawin natin, we write x squared plus 5x equals negative 4. And then, itong negative 4 na to, kailangan mailipat siya sa left side. So, magiging x squared plus 5x. Mag-a-add tayo ng 4 to both sides. So, x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals, what is negative 4 plus 4? 0. And then, ito na yung ipa-factor natin. So, ano yung mga factors ng 4 na kapag pinag-add natin, lilitaw ang 5 na middle term. That is 1 and 4. So, susulat natin x plus 1 tsaka x plus 4. Again, hindi kailangan na naka-arrange sila. Kahit nauna yung x plus 4 tas x plus 1, okay lang din. So, and then equate each term by 0. So, magiging ganito. X plus 1 is equal to 0. So, the value of x is negative 1. Next, x plus 4 equals 0. The value is x equals negative 4. So, to check, x squared plus 5x equals negative 4. And then, yung nakuha nating roots, x equals negative 1 and negative 4. So, let's try negative 1. So, x squared plus 5x equals negative 4. So, and then substitute negative 1 in place of x. Ayan. So, negative 1 squared, that is 1. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5 equals negative 4. 1 minus 5 is negative 4 equals negative 4. So, tama siya. Yung root natin na negative 1. For negative 4 naman, let's try. X squared plus 5x equals negative 4. So, negative 4 squared plus 5 times negative 4 equals negative 4. Negative 4 squared, that is positive 16. 5 times negative 4, that is negative 20, equals negative 4. 16 minus 20 is equal to negative 4, equals negative 4. So, yung mga roots natin ay ito, negative 1 and negative 4. So, let's have example number 4. Determine the roots of 2x squared minus 9x minus 18 equals 0. So, kapag ang numerical coefficient ng x squared ay hindi siya 1, so gagamit tayo ng ibang method. So, mas madaling method is AC method. So, ang AC method, ang gagawin lang natin dito is i-multiply natin yung numerical coefficient ng A and then yung constant term. So, yung negative 18. So, 2 times negative 18 is negative 36. And then, ano yung mga factors ng negative 36 na magbibigay ng sum na negative 9? So, yung mga factors niya is negative 12 and 3. Again, bakit ito ang naging negative and 12? Kung ano po yung sign yung nasa gitna, yun ang magiging sign ng mas mataas dun sa dalawang factor niya. So, and then gagawin lang natin, susulat natin na x minus 12. And then, yung isa, x plus 3. And then, since ang numerical coefficient ng x squared ay 2, i-divide natin tong mga constant term na ito by 2. And then, equal to 0. So, 12 divided by 2 is 6. That will become x minus 6. And then, 3 divided by 2, hindi natin siya madi-divide ng walang remainder. So, yung 2 na yan, ililipat lang natin sa tabi ng x. Magiging 2x plus 3. And then, equal to 0. Next, equate lang natin yung mga terms natin to 0. X minus 6 equal to 0. Tsaka, 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. So, and then, rewrite natin siya, linear equation, x minus 6 equals 0. So, the value of x is positive 6. and then 2x plus 3 equal to 0. So, itong 3 na to, kailangan natin siyang ma-eliminate dito sa left side. Kailangan ma-transfer siya sa right side. So, ang gagawin natin, magsusubtract tayo ng 3 to both sides. So, rewrite 2x, and then 3 minus 3 is 0. And then 0 minus 3 is negative 3. And then divide the whole equation by 2. So, para matanggal yung numerical coefficient ng x. So, the value of x now is negative 3 over 2. Check natin yung ating mga solution or roots kung tama nga. So, rewrite the equation 2x squared minus 9x minus 18 is equal to 0. And then yung ating mga roots, x equals 6 and negative 3 over 2. So, ang negative 3 over 2, pwede rin natin siya express in decimal. Negative 1.5. So, check natin yung 6 muna. X equals 6. 2x squared minus 9x minus 18 equals 0. And then, 2 times 6 squared minus 9 times 6 minus 18 is equal to 0. So, 2 times the square of 6, that is 36, minus 9 times 6 is 54, minus 18 equals 0. So, 2 times 36 is 72. Minus 54 minus 18. So, i-combine natin yung dalawa. The answer is negative 72 equal 0. 72 minus 72 is 0 equals 0. So, yung x equals 6 natin na root, correct. Let's try x equals negative 3 over 2. So, 2x squared minus 9x minus 18 equal to 0. So, and then 2 times negative 3 over 2 squared minus 9 times negative 3 over 2 minus 18 is equal to 0. Now, 2 times, what is the square of negative 3 over 2? That will become 9 over 4. Negative 9 times negative 3 over 2, that is 27 over 2. Minus 18 is equal to 0. And then itong 2, saka 4, pwede nating i-cancel. 2, magiging 1. 4, magiging 2. So, 9 over 2 plus 27 over 2 minus 18 is equal to 0. So pwede nating i-combine ang 9 over 2 tsaka 27 over 2. Magiging 36 over 2. Minus 18 is equal to 0. 36 divided by 2 is 18. Minus 18 equals 0. Therefore, yung mga roots natin na 6 and negative 3 over 2, tama. So, example number 5, our last example, solve for the roots of 16 minus 2x equals 3x squared. So, i-rewrite natin yung given equation in standard form. So, magiging 16 minus 2x equals 3x squared. So, pagbabalik rin natin sila, pwede naman 3x squared is equal to 16 minus 2x. And then, itong 16 minus 2x na to, kailangan natin siyang mailipat sa left side. So, magiging 3x squared minus 16 plus 2x equals 16 minus 2x minus 16 plus 2x. So, kung ano yung in-add natin or minus natin, ganun din yung sa right side para ma-eliminate yung 16 minus 2x. So, magiging 3x squared plus 2x minus 16 equals 0. Now, applying AC method, multiply 3 and negative 16. So, 3 times negative 16 is negative 48. So, ano mga factors ng negative 48 ang magbibigay ng sagot na a sum na 2? That is 8 tsaka negative 6. So, tuloy natin siya dito. Magiging x plus 8 tsaka x minus 6 equals 0. So, and then, ang numerical coefficient natin is 3. So, kailangan natin i-divide itong mga constant na to by 3. So, 8 divided by 3 cannot be. So, isusulat natin yung 3 sa tabi ng x. So, magiging 3x plus 8. Tapos, 6 divided by 3, 2. Magiging x minus 2 equals 0. And then, equate each term by 0. 3x plus 8 equals 0. Yung isa naman, x minus 2 equals 0. So, and then, magiging 3x. Itong 8 na to, kailangan sa left side, magiging negative 8. So, and then, divide the whole equation by 3. So, x equals negative 8 over 3. Ito naman, x equals 2. So, let's check. 16 minus 2x equals 3x squared. And then, yung mga roots natin, x equals negative 8 all over 3. And then, 2. So, dun muna tayo sa x equals 8, negative 8 all over 3. So, 16 minus 2 times negative 8 over 3 equals 3 times negative 8 all over 3 squared. 16 tapos minus 2 times negative 8, that will become 16 all over 3 equals 3 times, what is the square of negative 8 over 3? That is 64 over 9. And then, pwede na i-add natin ng 16 tsaka 16 over 3. Ang LCD niya ay 3. And then 3 divided by ang denominator ng 16, 1 times 16, 48. Plus 3 divided by 3, 1 plus 16, 16 equals, so ang 3 tsaka yung 9 pwede natin siyang i-cancel. So ito magiging 1. Ito naman, 3. Kasi ang common factor nila ay 3. So, magiging 64 over 3. And then, kapag in-add natin ang 48 tsaka 16, magiging 64 over 3 equal to 64 over 3. So, tama yung root natin na negative 8 over 3. So, if x equals 2 naman, so 16 minus 2 times 2 equals 3 times 2 squared. So, 16 minus 2 times 2, 4, equals 3 times the square of 2, 4. So, 16 minus 4 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. So, that is correct. So, ang roots natin na negative 8 all over 3 tsaka 2 ay tama. So, after natin i-discuss yung extracting the square roots, tsaka yung factoring, our next lesson will be solving quadratic equations by completing the square. So, I hope may natutunan kayo dito sa factoring. Although mahaba yung video, at least ang maganda dito is napakita ko lahat, pati yung checking. So, mahalaga yung checking para at least alam natin kung tama ba o mali ba yung mga solusyon na nakukuha natin. So, yun lang. Maraming salamat.